Hey garden friends, welcome on back. I know I'm kind of hunched down, so I'm in the camera. I have the camera under an umbrella, so that's why I have to do this. A little weird. Anyways, I am going to plant up my red geraniums I got off at the bargain rack at Lowe's, and I'm going to put them in this metal galvanized tub. This is a drink container from Walmart. So let's get rolling on planting up our summer containers. I have 2 of these to do. I'm just going to plant one with you, but the other one's going to be exactly the same. Let me move this chair out of the way so it's not in my way. Okay, so this container looks like this container. It was filled last year with different plants. It had tulips in it from the year prior, and now I want to get them planted up. So I dug out half of the soil so I could refresh it. The tulips went into one of the raised beds out in the back garden, so we're all good to go. So I added fresh potting soil to this to refresh it and to help fill it up. But I didn't fill it all the way because I got to make room for this big plant in it. You see, this has got a pretty good sized base. It's dripping because I had it sitting in water. Now there are actually 3 geraniums in here. I could divide them out, but I'm not going to. I want the full, big, lush display. And then I'm going to add to it, which was also on the bargain rack, this euphorbia. This is Diamond Snow by Proven Winners. I had the Diamond Frost one year and loved it. It did great all summer long, but it won't overwinter for me. So normally I won't pay full price. I'll get them off the bargain rack if I can find them. If I can't, then I would add something like Alyssum or whatever for that white frothy bit. And then also I'm going to add, see, it's a heavy pot, this ivy. This ivy has a white edging on it. Let me see if I can get you up closer. So you can see it's a beautiful lightish green, and then it has the white edging around the edges. Duh. Anyways, so, but I think there's 2 in here I could divide out to put in here. I had another one in the greenhouse that I thought was the white, but it actually has more of a yellow edging. And since I want the other one, to match exactly, I will probably take one of these that I divide out, put it in it, and then the other I'll put in the other one, and then I will take cuttings and start more and or root it along. I'll show you, I'll get you up close when I do that part. So first of all, I'm going to dig a nice divot into the soil that will fit the geranium, and I'm going to take it out of its pot. I actually thought of putting the whole pot and everything in it, but I thought, no, let's do this right. So I'm going to dump it upside down, and thankfully it came right out. You can see the roots. There's a lot of roots. It won't hurt it to loosen them up. In fact, it will encourage them to sink down into the roots or the soil here and refresh their roots completely. So set that down in there. Perfect. You look how big that is. I may have to divide out so you could see the euphorbia and the ivy, but I don't know. I like it real full. Maybe I could still see the euphorbia and the ivy. Sorry, the hair got in my mouth. I should have put it up. Okay, let's just check and see. If I stick the euphorbia here, that could work. And I just cut back some of the geranium to help the euphorbia go through there. I'm thinking maybe I will. I'll divide one of them off. The 2 in here will work, and then I could actually have another container so I can carry the color around my deck instead of it just being in these 2 containers. And that helps to create a little bit more harmony in your plantings. And I think that's going to work. So I'm going to get, let me see if this will just pull apart instead of having to cut it, but I may need to just slice it. Well, I got my shovel over there. I could just slice it off, huh? So of them, I think I'll slice off. You know what? This one over here's got 2 branching. Alrighty. If this doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. I could get another geranium, so I'm just going to go for it. Now this one's on the smaller side. This one, these two in the front are the bigger ones. So I might have to put this on the ground to do it. Yeah, I think I'm going to. Okay, here we go. All or nothing. I could see if I could just divide it. No, I'm not going to do it that way. Let me put it down here. I know you're out of the camera, or it's out of the camera, but I'm just going to divide through the soil mass of the one near the one I want to separate out. So here's the one I'm separating out, and I'm going to immediately put this in water. So there's two left, and I will put them where they're going this way instead of this way, beside each other, so front and back. So that is that. Now that fits in there perfectly. They will all kind of show shock for a while. So I'll tell you after a bit what I'm going to do for that. Hopefully I'll remember. But I will need to go get more soil to fill in here. But I'm going to put the euphorbias in next to them. I always reuse these pots. These are a great size to pot up things in. So yeah, these ones aren't too bad as far as being root bound. I'll make another divot. On this side. Is this pole in your way? So I made a divot for it to fit into. The top of the plant is just like an inch below the edge of this container, because I will fill up to that edge. Not to the edge, but to the edge of the top of the plant, because then I will have like an inch or so of the container that if I want to fill it with water, it will not run over. Okay, so that euphorbia there. And then I got to do the same with this ivy. I will take it out of its pot. Let me see if I can move this over. I will see if I could get this out of the pot. Now this one's been in here a long time. I may have to get a knife and run it around the edge, but hopefully I don't. All right. So here is the ivy, and you can see there's two in here. Two. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to run it right down the middle. And you know ivy's tough, so I'm not worried about this dying on me. So here's this one. Now, I will probably move this around. And so that's kind of why I wanted to have one on each side. But I don't have that many of this ivy. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. But first I have to go get more soil to fill this up, and then I'll be right back. So I have my potting soil here. And I'm just filling in around the plants that I've already put in here and getting them settled in. Remember, the ivy is on this side, and I'm filling it up to the soil line of the top of the plants I put in here, which is about an inch below the rim of the pot. Yeah, I'm out here on the deck instead of in the greenhouse because number one, once these are done, they're going to be heavy. And they're going on the back deck. And I don't want to have to move them. And it's so hot in the greenhouse right now. It's a beautiful, I think it's probably 78 out here. Which for May is fantastic. We are cooling down next week by 10 degrees, but at least there's no freezing temperatures in the forecast. So I'm not going to complain about it. Dropping 10 degrees. whatsoever. So it'll still be near 70. It'll be 69 for the high. So I'm just making sure to get this all filled in, the plant's settled, make sure I have them fully covered, no roots hanging out. Now I'm not going to put them in the specific place on this deck. I'm going to keep them because that would be put them in the direct sun, and I want them to have a couple of days to recover before them having to endure the heat. So hopefully I'm bright enough. I know I have backlight, but to have the camera in the shade of the umbrella, this is how I had to set it up. So beggars can't be choosers. All right, so let me move this stuff because I want to have the plant over here so I can show you what I'm going to do. So I didn't have enough ivy for me to put 2 in here, 1 on each side so that I could turn them around and you could see ivy from every side. Now I could have the option of just being fine with one side, but I really want to have the option of moving it around. So this side does have quite a long tendril. So I'm going to weave that tendril this direction, beyond the geraniums, and over to this side. And I have this little garden peg. I use this for my irrigation system. And I'm going to peg this ivy down and cover it with some soil. Now where it's touching, it will root. And then it'll start to spill out that side. Now it will root along the center too, but whatever's touching, if it's firm down, I've kept it a little above because I really don't want it to root in the center. And that's because ivy, it can really fill in a lot. The roots can become quite bullish and take over, or bully-ish. And so I don't want that to happen. So when I know this other piece over here has rooted, it's right here, has rooted, I will cut that middle stem, the parent stem, off and then pull up any roots underneath there and cut it off so only this piece is rooted. And so, okay, so there it is. My geraniums all planted. Now this flower stalk is kind of faded. So I'm going to take it off, and that will help generate new growth or new buds, new flower stems. And this one too, because what they're going to do is try to go to seed. And we don't want them to go to seed. We want the plant to put out more flowers. So this thing has been blooming like crazy, even during the freezes in my greenhouse, and I have been enjoying it thoroughly. I had one in my larger greenhouse and one in my bespoke greenhouse. And it's just been this last week that I've been able to bring them out, week and a half. Because the week before last, we got 6 feet of snow. But it didn't, the snow, the cold temperatures came when there was still snow on the plants, so many plants did not get frosted back like I was afraid they would. So I'm just going to examine and see if there's any damaged canes, stems, whatever on the geranium, or any leaves that look battered and bruised and turning brown-ish, and I'll just cut those off just to bring it up to snuff. So that, my friends, is, and I'll water this in as soon as I get done cleaning it up, pruning it up, and I'll give it a little shot of organic Rev, and then after a week or two I'll give it a shot of the eco-organic fertilizer, because this is a lot going on in here. The soil at the very bottom, even though I put in fresh soil, was depleted, so it will need that extra boost from the eco-organic. And what I like about it is it is instantaneously available to the plants, so they can take it up as they need it. A little Hummer's coming around, trying to come and see me. Okay, so let me see if I can get it around on this side so you can get a close-up of it. Move all my paraphernalia. Okay. So now these two geraniums kind of splayed more. Now I can tie them together so they look like one big plant, which would help with tidiness, but I'm just first of all going to let them recover from this big old move. And all of that, let's move it down. Can you see that? I'm hoping the backlight isn't obscuring it. Now on the little screen I can't see that well, but you see how this beautiful white rimmed ivy will drape down. The red geraniums, this one will hopefully bulk up, and or I'll tie this one up with it, and so it looks like one big one, and then the euphorbias here on each side will just add that white froth. Now I don't like mixing a lot of colors in my containers. I like there to be a main color and then foliage or white, because to me it gets too busy with tons of different colors. So that's just the way I like to do things, and it calms my mind when it gets really crazy. So that's why I don't mix. I know some people go through and they try to put harmonious colors of flowers together, and it just doesn't work for me. It's just too busy. They put four or five different ones in there, and it's like, nope, not going up there. So anyways, I will come back in a few weeks and I will share with you how this is doing and if the ivy has actually rooted. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to dig out the other one, haul off the top layer, and then I'm going to plant it just like this one. This is just an addendum, you guys, to this video. Here is how I'm going to replant the pieces of geranium that I divided out. And I put a coffee filter in the bottom of this pot because it has a very big hole in it. Can you see that? And so I put the coffee filter here so that it doesn't all fall through. And I'll use a little bit of the soil that I dug out of the other pot to help fill it. That way I make sure my soil goes further. This still has some leaves and stuff in it, but that's not a big deal. Even has some elephant ears that didn't make it. I don't think they made it. They don't look like they made it. So put that in there. Let's see how deep this can go. Yeah, I'll just put that right there. And then I will fill it up with more soil until it's all full. Back up. And then this one can be in this pot, and we can place it somewhere on the deck. I'm thinking I'm going to put this over by my fountain. You probably can hear it in the background. But they need to get some more potting soil. Alrighty. Yep, more. Firm it in there. It's not flopping all over. It's not heavy. I know when I bend down there, it can't hear me as well. I'm sorry. Let's get this one. All right, so I firmed it in, and then I will water it in once I do that other one, which I will bring around here. Put some grub in this one so I dump it out. Same deal, coffee filter, so it doesn't all go through to the out of the bottom. Let me put this off. Tag for my geraniums. They were originally $26.98, and I got them for half off. So what is that? $13? $14? But there were 3 in it, and then I divided out 1 from each. So 2 went into the large containers, and then I had 2 left over to put in these back into these containers. So there's that, and maybe a little bit of fresh. And then I'll go get the tree. This was dripping wet because I had it soaking to help it through the shock. And boom, back in. Potting soil. In fact, I might raise it up a little bit. Didn't have as much on the bottom as the other one did. So hope you're getting all this. Close enough. Close enough. It's not rocket science. But I just thought you'd like to know my little trick. Uh-oh, getting dirt in my soda. Move that out of the way. For potting up the extra geraniums that were left over. So let me move this tub 2 geraniums up here. There's one. And I'm a little close. I can back you up a little bit. Let me back you up a little bit. There we go. And then the other one. My setup is not optimum, but it is what it is. I haven't had so much time today. And that's how it flies around here. So I'm going to water them in. And the coffee filter in the bottom will help prevent the soil from washing through, which is a big help. And then the plants can be hydrated well. Let me see if there's any of this over here. It needs to come off. The compost heap. And I think that will work. Some leaves. Now I could plant something in the bottom here, like maybe some alyssum. I do have alyssum, and that would be really pretty. That would correspond with the euphorbia that I did in the big container. So I may do that. I'll go get the alyssum and I'll plant that in here. And then when I update you on everything, I'll show you. Because it's just 6 packs of alyssum, and I'll put a couple in here, and that will carry it through the summer. So there you have it. A little addendum to how I potted up the geraniums that I divided out from the others when planting up my large galvanized containers. Addendum number 2. I forgot I was going to share with you. Look at this is a cutting I took just a couple months ago, and it rooted. Look how tiny it is, but it's sending up a flower. Now, normally I would cut this off so it can focus on getting bigger, but I'm just going to let it go for now and then enjoy it a little bit, and then I'll cut it off and encourage the roots. I hope you enjoyed coming along on this video where I planted up finally my bargain rack from Lowe's geranium, and even my euphorbias were all on the bargain rack. Okay, so let's price this out. This geranium, which there was 3 in 1, was, I'll have to look at the thing again. I'll have to look at my, I can't remember what it was, but I think it ended up being $10 or $12 for the big thing, and there's 3 in there, so what is that, $4 a piece? And then the euphorbias were marked down to like $3 a piece, $3 or $4 a piece. So that's 8, 14, and this was free. So $14 if you counted the cost of this, if you had to buy this container, which you would have to drill holes in. That was the last time I bought them, they were $14. So if you find them in a thrift store, that's great, or any other container that you have will work. I just love galvanized metal. That's just all there is to it. I thought these would make a perfect planter for me. Alrighty, like I said, in a few weeks I'll bring you back, show you where I put them out here on my deck and how they look then. All right, see you later. Bye.